Your baby is not being shy. Your baby is not being rude. And your baby is definitely not overreacting. Because when a baby locks onto a stranger with that eerie, unblinking stare, the kind that makes an entire room go awkward for 3 solid seconds, you are not watching a social mistake. You are watching a threat detection system come online. Picture this. You're at an airport gate. Your baby is calm against your chest, studying the lights, the rolling suitcases, the blur of legs and voices. Then a friendly stranger sits across from you, leans forward, widens their eyes, and says, "Oh my gosh, look at that face." And your baby goes still. Not playful still, not sleepy still, frozen, eyes wide, brows lifted, tiny fingers pressing into your shirt like they're bracing for impact. Your baby studies that stranger like a miniature intelligence analyst, trying to figure out whether this person belongs in their world or outside it. Then comes the turn. The face hides in your shoulder, the body curls inward, the crying starts. And everyone around you thinks the same thing. Oh, the baby's just shy. But pediatricians have been saying for years that this phase is usually something very different. The American Academy of Pediatrics says that in the later part of the first year, many babies become anxious, clingy, and easily frightened around unfamiliar people or objects, and that this is not because you spoiled them. It happens because, for the first time, they are getting much better at telling the difference between what is familiar and what is unfamiliar. AAP even frames this as evidence of a healthy attachment, not a behavioral flaw. That is the part most adults miss. Your baby is not failing socially. Your baby is succeeding cognitively. And the science gets even more surprising. Research has shown that human infants are wired to treat faces and eye contact as high-priority information astonishingly early. In a PNAS study, researchers found that newborns just a few days old preferred faces with direct gaze over faces with averted gaze, and that even very young infants showed enhanced neural processing when eye contact was direct. In other words, long before babies can talk, they are already built to care deeply about faces that look back at them. So when a stranger's face moves close to your baby's, that face does not enter the brain as a casual detail. It enters as urgent data. Now layer on what your baby already knows. By the first months of life, your baby has been running an intensive study on one face more than any other: yours. A longitudinal study published in Scientific Reports tracked infants comparing their mother's face with a stranger's face at 2 weeks, 4 months, 6 months, and 9 months. One of the striking findings was that at 6 months, infants looked significantly longer at their mother's face, and infants who spent longer looking at their mother's face at 6 months later showed better recovery from distress at 9 months. That matters, because it suggests that your face is not just familiar. It is becoming part of how your baby regulates emotion. So now imagine what happens when a brand new face shows up. A different smile, a different rhythm, a different voice, a different scent, a different distance, a different set of eyes trying to make contact. To an adult, that may feel ordinary. To a baby, that can feel like a full system audit. And babies do not process this the way adults do. Adults can talk themselves through ambiguity. We can think, "She's loud, but she's harmless," or "He's excited, but he means well." A baby cannot narrate their way out of uncertainty. Their body has to answer the question first. Do I understand this person well enough to stay calm? If the answer is no, the nervous system does the talking. That is why babies often stare before they cry. The stare is not empty. It is investigative. It is the pause before the verdict. And here's where the timing becomes important. In the second half of the first year, infants begin showing a much stronger attentional pull toward possible threat signals in faces. In one study published in Social, Cognitive, and Affective Neuroscience, researchers compared 5-month-olds and 7-month-olds while they looked at happy and fearful faces. The 7-month-olds showed stronger neural responses to fearful faces and looked at them longer. The 5-month-olds did not show that same pattern. The researchers concluded that enhanced sensitivity to facial signals of threat emerges between 5 and 7 months. That means something subtle but huge is happening around the exact stage when many parents start saying, "My baby used to be fine with everybody, and now suddenly they're not." The baby didn't get difficult. The baby got sharper. Their brain became better at flagging faces that might require caution. Now picture a different scene. You're at a wedding reception. Music is loud, lighting is low. Your baby has already had a long day. Then an older family friend in a bold floral jacket sweeps in smiling, talks too loudly, reaches out both hands and says, "Come to me." Your baby stares. That stare is doing several things at once. It is checking the face, it is checking the movement, it is checking the voice. It is checking whether all those signals belong together. And then, if the uncertainty rises high enough, your baby checks one more thing: you. That glance back at your face is one of the most important moments in early development. Developmental psychologists call this social referencing, when infants use another person's emotional signals to help decide how to interpret an uncertain situation. In a child development study, 12-month-old infants were presented with a novel toy while their mothers gave emotional signals that were happy, neutral, or fearful, either through face-only or voice-only cues. Fearful vocal signals alone were enough to change infant behavior. Those babies looked at their mothers longer, stayed less close to the toy, and showed more negative affect than infants hearing neutral vocal signals. That is extraordinary. It means your baby is not reacting only to the stranger. Your baby is reacting to the stranger plus your face, your body, your tone, your tension, your timing. So if you freeze a little when someone gets too close, if you force a social smile because you don't want to seem rude, if your shoulders tighten while your voice gets overly sweet, your baby may read that conflict faster than the adults in the room do. Because babies are not looking for politeness, they are looking for coherence. That is why one overly intense person can upset a baby more than 3 quiet strangers. A quiet, unfamiliar person gives the brain room to process. An intrusive, unfamiliar person floods the system before the system has finished deciding what is happening. And this is why the classic adult response, leaning in closer, smiling bigger, talking louder, often backfires. Adults think they are helping by broadcasting friendliness. Babies may experience that as too much information arriving too fast, too close, too animated, too unpredictable. And once overload begins, the body moves fast, hiding, crying, clinging, arching away, grabbing for you. Not because the baby is spoiled, because the baby's brain has hit its uncertainty limit. This is also why the phrase, "he's just being antisocial," misses the point so badly. Your baby is not rejecting people out of bad manners. Your baby is sorting the world. Human beings are not born with a finished map of who is safe, who is familiar, what expressions mean, how voices line up with faces, and what kind of approach predicts comfort instead of stress. That map has to be built, and your baby builds it in real time, face by face, voice by voice, moment by moment. The reason this can look dramatic is because infancy is the period when so much of that mapping is being done without language. Adults explain the world with words. Babies explain it with attention. Where they look, how long they look, when they turn away, when they bury their face. when they reach back for the one person who still makes the world feel organized. That person is usually you. And that dependence is not weakness. It is efficient biology. AP makes an important point here too. The anxious, clingy behavior many parents notice in the later part of the first year is not proof they caused a problem. It is often a predictable developmental shift that happens because babies are now more able to discriminate between familiar and unfamiliar situations. In plain English, your baby is not becoming impossible. Your baby is becoming selective. That selectivity can feel inconvenient in public. It can feel embarrassing at family gatherings. It can make you feel guilty when someone says, "Wow, they really don't like me." But that interpretation is usually wrong. Your baby is not making a character judgment. Your baby is making a regulation decision. Can I absorb this person right now? Can I predict them? Can I stay calm while they move closer? Do the signals line up? Does my safe person seem calm about this? That is the actual sequence. And once you see it, so many everyday moments make more sense. The baby who suddenly cries when the cashier bends down too fast. The baby who studies the babysitter for 30 silent seconds before deciding whether to melt down. The baby who can tolerate a new person across the room, but not in their face. The baby who seems fine until everyone starts laughing loudly at once. These are not random reactions. These are the visible signs of a nervous system trying to do precision work under pressure. In fact, one of the most beautiful reframes here is this. A baby who reacts strongly to strangers may not be showing social weakness. They may be showing social sophistication at the exact level their developing brain can manage. They notice differences. They register intensity. They compare unfamiliar signals against a trusted baseline. They use your emotional state as a compass. And when the data says too much, too fast, not yet, they retreat. That retreat is not failure. It is self-protection. And honestly, it is often intelligent self-protection. Because trust is not supposed to be automatic. Trust is supposed to be built. That is true for adults, and it is true for babies too. Only babies have to build it with much less processing power, much less control over their bodies, and absolutely no words. So the next time your baby stares at a stranger like a tiny security officer scanning a suspicious passport, do not rush to apologize. Do not assume your baby is being dramatic. Do not let the room convince you that a cautious response is a defective one. What you may be seeing instead is a healthy attachment system, an emerging face reading system, a growing sensitivity to emotional signals, and a baby who is using every tool they have to answer one ancient question: is this person safe for me? And if the answer does not come quickly enough, they do what smart nervous systems do. They return to the person whose face has become their emotional ground truth. They return to you. That is not clinginess in the shallow way people mean it. That is your baby using a scientifically recognizable strategy. Prioritize familiar signals, monitor uncertainty, and regulate through the safest available relationship. AAP's guidance on stranger anxiety. Work on infants' early preference for direct gaze. Longitudinal findings on attention to the mother's face. Social referencing experiments with maternal emotional cues. And research showing stronger attention to fearful faces by about 7 months, all point toward the same bigger truth. Babies are not passive little observers. They are active, selective, fast-learning social brains. And once you understand that, the stare stops looking awkward. It starts looking extraordinary.